The athletes really needed their piece. Professional football annually is about a $20 billion industry. College is about a $5 billion industry.
What do you think's going on, and how are you guys helping with the NIL world?
It's ripe for disruption. It's ripe for innovation. That's really where we come in. Through technology, we invest. We look for the entrepreneurs that see an opportunity, just like yourself.
What advice would you give that younger you, maybe?
Because at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah.
You're the one that has to get out of bed. You're the one that has to judge yourself. People can guide you. People can suggest. Parents are great. Teachers are great. But at the end of the day, it's about you.
Now you're helping athletes, investors, entrepreneurs, business leaders find their dreams. Tell me a little bit more about how you got the start. Welcome to Built to Scale. I'm Anthony Mongeluzo, and we have a guest today. It's going to be a real fun time. We like to talk about sports here a lot in South Jersey, and we have Chad Stender, managing partner of 76 Capital. Now, you're helping athletes, investors, entrepreneurs, business leaders find their dreams. Tell me a little bit more about how you got the start, how'd you become managing partner, and give us a quick intro.
Absolutely. Anthony, it's great to be here. Really appreciate you having me. It's been a blast. It's been a journey. My career, I've been blessed to expand working in sports. I started in professional sports entertainment here in Philadelphia, the Flyers, the Sixers, Comcast Spectacor.
Well, I heard some people here. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite, soccer.
Soccer, okay.
The Union are making a run. We'll see.
I know nothing about soccer. So
that Italian last name? Come on.
Yeah, I grew up in South Philly. We play football. We play Americana football. One of the things that interests me, and we talked about it even a little bit at lunch and just, looking at your profile, what do you think's going on, and how are you guys helping with the NIL world? I mean, I was at Penn State with our YPO, and NIL is a big thing.
Massive, yeah.
I met some folks over at Rutgers. Rutgers is trying to make a big play in NIL to get that talent. So just help me understand how this whole thing gets put together. I mean, with you guys are obviously the leaders, the VC leaders, I'll say, right? And this,
absolutely. I think really it's going to pull apart before we come back together. I think this has been years in the making, 20, 30 years, where the athletes really needed their piece. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. When you look at, professional football, just to college football, professional football annually is about a $20 billion industry. College is about a $5 billion industry. But the SEC they're kings of the South. It's a massive, massive play, but it's ripe for disruption. It's ripe for innovation. That's really where we come in. Through technology, we invest. We look for the entrepreneurs that see an opportunity, just like yourself, right? Someone that's super creative, driven, willing to take chances. And I think that's what college needs. You're also going to see moments down into high school, and there's going to be a lot of disruption. But it's really the professionalization of youth, college, and even pro sports is having a moment. Some of these teams worth multi-billions are really being run as like a mom and pop shop. And now there's time from our side to come in, invest, bring innovation, data, analytics, and continue to drive the value to these properties.
Now with NIL, is there a limit that someone can, or is there like a salary cap, so to speak?
I would say a soft cap. So there's recent legislation. Each university is now allowed to pay directly $20.5 million to their athletes.
Oh, wow.
So that's set across. But there's
that's all sports? All sports. Okay, so not football.
Right. But most it's about 90% going to football, depending on the university.
Yep.
And then the athletes are allowed to have NIL. They're still allowed to profit from their name, image, and likeness. So that's on top. But the idea of kind of having the boosters pay, the athletes directly, the school was supposed to be hands off. Now the school directly. But the school really needs to figure out how are they going to make an additional $20 million. They're not going outside and pulling it from the tree. They need to figure this out. So it's an interesting moment.
So let's say, for instance, I'm Elon Musk and I love this player. Can I give the player $1 billion in NIL?
No. So there's a clearinghouse now called NCAA Go.
Okay.
That's essentially the third party that's making sure if Elon Musk gives a player $1 billion, what are they doing for it?
Right.
That it has to be honest and in line with other contracts and agreements. But there's been some interesting deals. Quarterback of Michigan got $10 million. And so we'll see, but wild times.
Yeah, I'm feeling like some athletes are actually staying that extra year in college because some of them can make more than the rookie,
especially on the women's side. The WNBA players are making more in college, so they're incentivized to stay. There's also a notion that if you take away the 4 4 to 5 years of eligibility, depending on redshirt, that maybe college sports starts competing with pro sports, which it's going to get wild. I continue to we're on top of it. We're investing, but we invest across. So we're not really trying to, pick one winner, but rather an industry that's growing.
Now, if you had to break down your business, for those watching, pretend they know nothing about what
Sure.
you do. How many athletes' businesses? Just give us what's the core purpose of 76 Capital?
Yeah, I think to take a step back, my partner, Wayne Kimmel, started everything in 99. 26 years ago, it was about finding the most amazing entrepreneurs all across technology, obviously investing capital with those founders, but doing everything we could at 76 Capital to make them successful. That's making introductions, strategy, really doing anything we could, opening up our network, our access. And really it was the last 10 years, Anthony, that we looked up and said, is there an asset class? Is there an industry that hasn't been disrupted by data, analytics, technology? And lo and behold, sports. It's that one thing that we all do. We're either watching it, playing it, the athlete ourselves, or we have a kid, a grandkid, a niece, nephew that's tied to it. So it really covers all bases. And we saw something around 2015 and went all in, backing these entrepreneurs in technology. So the one thing we don't focus on right now is investing in teams or leagues or media rights. Rather, our companies support the driving value and really helping those team values increase.
Yeah, I think it's a real interesting concept. We met through a mutual friend, Elijah, and when Elijah explained, I'm like, wait a second, they're venture capital in sports? One, I like sports, so I'm like, that's cool. But I was like you said, I never heard of it.
Sure, absolutely.
So one question I always wanted to ask people in the industry, and there's going to be one that's not on the script here that I thought of what's going on with sports. But first, so these athletes you're working with and all that.
Sure.
With this NIL money and, 1% is going to make it. I mean, the thing that was fascinating to me when I went to, Penn was you look at the wall and they have a list, right? They have this wall and it shows every NFL team logo. And then it shows the players that graduated. And there's a lot that came out of Penn. But when you think about all the players that went through the program, I'm like, okay, that's 1/4%. What do you find in these athletes that you're helping with their post career, whether it's their college career ends, they don't get picked up, or what's their mindset like?
Yeah, from our side at 76, we've built something called our Athlete Venture Group. And what we've done is worked hand in hand with athletes and helping them in all facets, whether they're a professional athlete, to your point, whether they're in college and are trying to figure out, are they going to go pro or do they want a career around entrepreneurship, startups? And we've done everything from, having interns to investors. So a number of athletes are investors of ours, to really helping them directly with our companies. For them, when they actually get in the boardroom and realize how much value they can add, the effects that they can have, and the mindsets change, where before athletes kind of finished their career, whether by choice or unfortunately, they kind of were forced out due to injury or aged out. And then they kind of said, now what?
Right.
And most of their ties were to the game. So often they went back in coaching, some kind of broadcasting. Now they realize there's such opportunity across business. They have amazing access, an amazing network of relationships. It's really, how do they amplify and turn that on? And I think that's where we come in, really helping them and showing them the business world and giving them that 101 that for many times, if they didn't get it in school or they left early, now they can kind of come back and start to build their business side, hopefully while they're playing. But at any point, you can really get there.
Do you have any favorite athletes you work with, or any favorite success stories? Anyone the audience might know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a soccer guy, very close to Alejandro Bedoya, captain of the Philly Union, played for the national team 66 times. In Philadelphia here, it's been Brian Westbrook, Ryan Howard, James Devlin, who won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, local guy.
I love Devlin. I'm Patriots
there we go, yeah, from Boyertown, PA. But we're also partners in a sports marketing agency called Rubicon Talent. So they represent athletes off the field, are the brand endorsements or appearances. They're very heavy on the NFL side. They work with Olympians, broadcasters, and that's been a big part for us as well, really working with Rubicon's athletes and helping them in their business endeavors.
On a side, you mentioned Westbrook. He could hit a golf ball a mile. We golfed with him last year, and
super talented.
It just crushes it. Not everyone went straight, but just the sheer force. So not on script, and obviously just a recent thing with the NBA, and now you got MLB. What's your industry saying where the pitchers just got indicted for I guess messing with the pitch count? Obviously, the NBA had the whole gambling thing. What's that doing to the sports world, or what's your thoughts on that?
As we think through our investment strategy at 76 Capital, we are focused on sports betting and gaming. But for us, it's really how do we surround the industry? And the drivers of it, you need to collect the data, you need to analyze it. There's a whole opportunity around media, the next gen technology. And a big piece that we're invested in is an integrity and compliance company called IC360. And at the end of the day, they're the ones that are alerting the feds of all of these nefarious activities, whether recently UFC, to your point, the NBA with Rozier, now college is having some things. But Dana White went out last week, great clip, I'll send it to you.
Oh, please do, yeah.
Talking about our portfolio company, IC360, about how they're the watchdog, they're the safeguard of the industry. And when something's regulated, it allows the bad actors to get caught.
Yeah.
Before PASPA, so that was the law here in New Jersey that changed the future of sports betting. Before it was just legal in Nevada. And at that moment, May 14th of 2018, all the states, could have betting or if they wanted to, they didn't have to. But at that moment, it became regulated. And that's when you can really force the bad actors out. Before it's all illegal and a lot of people can turn their back. And it's a company like IC360 that's monitoring every bet, working with all the books, working with the regulators and watching for something that looks out of line. And their job is they report it. And that's usually what happens when someone puts a $100,000 bet on a baseball game in college and the pitcher, just happened to not start that day.
I was gonna say, I think my favorite one was one of the Super Bowls. A guy placed a bet, like, will there be a streaker on the field? And then he went out and went streaking, and then he got caught, and they invalidated the bet on him. So you've been building this business, you've been doing different things. Do you have any life lessons or leadership lessons that you would share for, maybe our 20-year-old that says, hey, you know what? I want to be a managing partner. I want to own a few companies. I want to get in the industry. What advice would you give that younger you maybe?
I mean, I think about our lunch that we had, a month ago and hearing your story. And I think it really is it's not even about the young, inspiring entrepreneur. It's about business. It's about hustle and grit and determination and figuring it out for yourself. And when you hear no, it's just, how can I make my next opportunity? It's not stopping and not necessarily listening to others, but figuring out that self-belief. Because at the end of the day, it's you. Yeah. You're the one that has to get out of bed. You're the one that has to judge yourself. People can guide you. People can suggest, parents are great, teachers are great. But at the end of the day, it's about you. And it comes down to that work ethic and building your network, which is hustle and grit. But it's really kind of those simple things, but they're hard to do. They're hard to do well. And you can really watch an entrepreneur like yourself that's done it incredibly well. And just hearing your passion at lunch, hearing how determined you are day in, day out, even though you've built multiple successful businesses, you feel like you're just getting going. And I think that's what is so exciting. And that's the part that, I've been blessed to have great mentors that have kind of helped instill that in me.
Yeah, mentors, and we talk about that a lot here. Mentors are just, such a great thing to have. And
absolutely.
I'm not one of those guys. Like I've listened to Tony Robbins, and I think that's good. I've never had a formal coach, but I've had plenty of mentors. And one of my business philosophies was, I would go into these organizations, and as the IT guy, right, you would get access to everyone, all the C-suite, because the IT holds the keys to the kingdom.
Absolutely.
And what I would do is everyone I meet has one superpower, some special ability, whether it's running a meeting, managing a project, whatever it is. And I've always just tried to steal that. Like, okay, if I could put this, it's almost like building the perfect quarterback. I need this guy. I need Brady's brain and determination, but I need Aaron Rodgers' arm, right? How do you build RoboCop? And that's really what I try to do with business. But the other thing I think people should realize, the consistency, right? Like I remember, talk about hustle. We probably lost, I say me, because I'm sole owner. I lost about 60% of my business when the mortgage industry crashed in 08, 09, and that was miserable, subprime market. I just bought my first office building, my first real home, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to rebuild this thing. So I was single. I created the Every Night Club. I went out every night, and guess what? That year, we ended up sales and everything about the same, losing 60%. So, you just got to be there. I mean, some people don't realize it. Like they worry about fitting in or, hey, it's too much. No, guess what? Just go to everything.
Absolutely.
I would go to the Dog Catchers Association if I had to, if there's nothing on my calendar. So let's go to some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
We got a bunch on here, but we're not going to do them all. We're not going to do them all.
Here we go. Sure.
Business hero.
business hero. When I think about that, it's pretty obvious. It's Wayne, right? Wayne was the founder of 76 Capital. I got to know Wayne 4 years before we started working together. I'm super fortunate to get to build that friendship and relationship. Wayne has been everything from a mentor to a big father to a brother to a best friend, like everything you could think of. But he's really allowed me to grow and build my career with him, with 76 Capital, and constantly pushing me, but saying, if we keep going here, you will get to where I'm at today, managing partner. We're doing it together. We've been able to build together, but a lot of trust and a lot of faith. And I think when someone, really sits there and you believe it,
yep,
and you see it and you're doing it together, there's nothing better. And to have that. And so without a doubt, it's Wayne Kimmel. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And you can't fake belief. So, how about, instead of business hero, how about personal hero? Who's been your guy?
Yeah, my parents.
Parents,
absolutely. Super blessed the whole way through. It just really, again, kind of back to this work ethic. I feel like teaching me and showing me, actually doing what I think has been important about how to treat others, how to listen, how to help, how to give back, and what that can ultimately do. And it's not about you're always trying to make an ask.
Yep.
It's kind of about doing that right thing, and it will come back around, right? Paying it forward, karma.
Yep.
And blessed to have the parents they were parents.
Yeah.
They didn't let me get away with stuff. They were always cool with me. We're very close, but it wasn't that like, we're just going to be best friends. It was, we're going to be your parents and we're going to hold you to it. And I feel like it's worked.
Accountability.
Yeah,
accountability parents.
Absolutely.
Accountability
Sure.
parents. How about your favorite book?
My favorite book. I remember kind of right when I was graduating college, and it was that kind of, are you going to maybe take a career that like everyone else is doing? What's it going to be like? And it's daunting, right? You're back then, you're blasting your resume everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You're just, people are not responding to you. And it's kind of that tough moment because high school, you kind of felt like you're going to go to college.
Yep.
In college, it's time to get a job, but there's no real playbook.
Right.
Other than go get a job. What does everyone tell you? Go get a job. Go get a job.
But no, how about the book though? We need.
I know. Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
I
I
apologize.
was like, wait a second, I heard playbook. I'm like, wait, no, not that playbook.
But I picked up Pat Croce's book, right? Local guy.
Yeah. He's cool.
He's amazing, and I feel great, and you will too. Is the book?
Oh yeah.
And I read it, and it spoke to me, and how he brought the essence and the fundamentals of business. How he explained it, how he talked about his life. I mean, he just wanted to be a trainer. Yep. But he took that passion, got in with the Eagles, and then he ultimately, became this true entrepreneur that started his company. But he just kept going. He just had this, and that really, I think, helped me at that moment where you don't know what it's going to be like to start your career. So sorry,
no. I thought sometimes we go up, but no, you tied the ribbon there perfectly. How about a quote that you live by? Any quote that means a lot to you?
I think I have 2 kids, boy, girl, 12 and 9. And kind of what I say to them, tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Yep.
Right?
That's a great quote.
It's just, no matter what, this will pass.
Yep.
But keep going. Keep driving.
Yeah, around here we always say this too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
The good and the bad. So, let's do one other here, because there was one other I did want to ask you. Since you talk about Pat Croce, the book and getting you going on us, do you have any productivity hack? Anything that we all look good, we're business owners, everyone goes to LinkedIn, but not every day's a great day, right? Some days you wake up, maybe you got a little sniffle, but you got to get things done. Anything to motivate you or make you ready to go that day?
I think you're going to burn the candle at one of two ends, right? You're either that 2 a.m. person or kind of that 4 a.m. And to me, it's always get up as early as possible, right? Like if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like there's just so much on your plate, get up earlier. I think caffeine helps a lot, but to me, like it's not a hack, but it's hard when that alarm's going off at 4 a.m, 4:30 in the morning to actually get yourself out of bed. It's the old saying that the heaviest thing at the gym's the front door.
Yeah.
Right? Like just getting yourself to the gym, getting yourself out of bed. But at the end of the day, if you can create that extra 15, 30 minutes and do that day in, day out, it goes a long way.
Now, what time are you getting to bed then these days if you're getting up early?
Usually it's by 10:30, depends if the game on Flyers last night, tough one in overtime, right? Yep. But it just depends on what's going on, but usually around 10 and I'm usually up around 435-ish is kind of my sweet spot.
And then last question, because a lot of people ask me this all the time. So you have 2 young children.
Yep.
You got active businesses, right? You have a social life. You got your gym life. How are you keeping everything in order? How are you making sure you have time, with the family and, still remaining productive?
I think that's the biggest challenge is to try to be present at work, present with your family. And that's the struggle and then to allot time for yourself. But it's not easy. Every day is that's the challenge. But I think kind of leaving business at the front door when you walk in and picking it back up when you walk out, but being there for your kids and your spouse, like that's what I strive for, and knowing like work supports what you have on the home front.
Yeah, because I was gonna say for me, right? I always joke, but it's the truth. When I was younger, I would triple book myself everywhere. Like I would say yes to everything, right? So my life is actually very easy now because Elisa runs my calendar from pretty much 7:30 in the morning on Monday till about 5-ish on Friday. And that's where my wife takes over. So she runs the weekends, and obviously, she emails Elisa for family stuff and important events and all that. And then I go see my mom every Sunday with the girls. So, I mean, for me, it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time until I wake up in the morning and look in the calendar because it's like, it's set, we're ready. I mean, I have alerts and follow-up emails if I need to have things prepared. But my calendar is my, that's my hack.
Yeah.
I won't have anything without. So, well, great. So, one, it was awesome having you on here today. Love the business model. Again, just thought it was really cool. I'm looking forward to going to your events. On the YouTube version of this, we will have a link to your website so people could learn more about 76 Capital.
Thank you.
But for those listening on audio, you want to check it out, 76capital.com, spelled out
76capital.com,
just
spelled
like
out.
that. Thanks for tuning in to Built to Scale with me, Anthony Mongeluzo. And I hope you could tune in the future where we will have more business leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, and folks to inspire you both personally and professionally.